Good afternoon, everybody. We'd like to welcome you to our second session of Wellness Wednesdays. Today, we're going to be doing De-Stress from Your Desk with Lauren Mathena from Firefly Studios. I think that we should be providing two links in the chat here shortly where you can sign up to get the nonprofit networks newsletters. And I think that we're going to be able to share a link for Firefly Studio where you can get updates from them as well. At this time, we're going to go ahead and turn it over to our co-host, Lauren Mathena.
Hello. So Kelly and Evelyn, you tell me, am I supposed to leave my video off or turn it on? And I can do either way.
You should leave your video on. Evelyn's going to get you pinned where everybody can see you.
Well, so my name is Lauren, and this is my desk behind me. And so the first thing that I suggest that you guys do, if you can, is actually step away from your desk. If there's a way, even if you can just kind of pull your chair away from your desk and maybe put your back to your computer for these next, I think we have about 25 minutes left. So you could be sitting up in your chair, but kind of, physically putting the barrier between yourself and everything you've got going on in your laptop. I have a couple of pillows with me, so actually I was sitting down on the floor. And so if you're still working from home, you might have the luxury, like I do right now, of having this bolster stacked underneath me. Wherever you go, you can go ahead and lower or close your eyes and just start arriving on your own time today. You might not be on a physical yoga mat, but you can still practice yoga or meditation or mindfulness, whatever name you'd like to give it. You can do that on your seat, in your chair, on your floor. You can do it along your commute, those few minutes before you leave the driveway and start heading to work, or when you get home before you pull into the garage, just putting your car in park and closing your eyes for 5 minutes. When we work from home or don't go out to as many meetings, sometimes we work for longer stretches. So we don't have that same come and go where we're getting up from one meeting, going to the next, or even stopping to have time to go to the restroom. So this time right now is just your time to undo some of the patterns that we put our bodies into when we spend long days hunched over a computer, looking down at a phone. And so from here, sit up nice and tall. Lengthen through your spine and through the side bodies. You might press the ribs over towards the right and the left. It might feel good to interlace fingers overhead, reach the arms up, and reach right and left. Bring your hands down to heart center, lowering and closing the eyes once again. And take a big breath in, an open mouth breath out. A moment of gratitude here, just to acknowledge yourself for taking time for your breath. Self-care has become kind of a buzzword, but it's not always something that we actually take time to do. I apologize if you can hear any noises from my home to your home or your office. We've all had different background sounds this past year and a half. We've all picked up stress in this past year and a half. Stress is, in some sense, something that happens to us. It is something then that also can be undone if it's something that can be done. So undoing that stress requires time and attention and some skill, and that skill can be easily learned and repeated. the skill of sitting quietly and mindfully on the floor or in your chair with your back turned against your notifications without worry of what's happening next, without worry of anything except your breath is a skill. You all remember watching like Karate Kid. And challenge yourself just to be able to sit, to breathe, to process everything that's already happened so far this morning. How many people have you already interacted with? How many emails have you sent? How many split-second feelings have you felt in response to different images you might have seen on a screen? Stress can do physical, mental, and emotional damage to our bodies, to our mind, and to our spirit. And so we can actively promote healing to undo that damage, to repair ourselves. And you can use just some simple calming techniques to do that, to relax your body and mind into relaxation. Relaxing into relaxation sounds pretty good. So just breathing is the number one thing to learn. We all are breathing involuntarily every day, probably not really noticing our breath. But when you breathe with purpose, your breath can help you to find equilibrium or balance. It can bring you back to a place of calmness instead of in this perpetual state of fight or flight. Consider all that's happened to you today and last week and this month and this year and last year and your whole life that has caused you to go into a fight or flight response. All the stress you've ever experienced somehow builds up and is fought within your body. But you can use your breath to process it, to release it, to let it go so that the burden, the tightness of it, the edge of it can be released. And so sometimes we do that also by sitting in postures that can help relieve stress. And so again, just from your seated position, you can try to add some side body stretches, just reaching one arm overhead, just going back and forth. You might bring the opposite hand to the hip or reach it down towards the floor if you're up in your chair. You could also do this from a standing position if you feel like being on your feet. And so staying with your breath will be the theme of the rest of our practice as we continue this de-stress from your desk, excuse me. Go ahead and start to find some shoulder rolls. So another thing that we tend to do while we're sitting at our desk all the time is have the shoulders hunched in. And so think about rolling the shoulders back, reaching the heart forward. It's almost like you're finding a seated cow pose, lifting up through the heart, maybe lifting the gaze up. One thing that you can do to help with your work from home or work from your office setup, whichever place you're at, is to have your screen so that it is where you can be looking slightly up at it instead of down at it. And so you can use different, books or yoga blocks to adjust the height of your computer monitor, your laptop, so that if you're like me on your screen all day, you have a little bit better angle for your neck and your shoulders. Let the shoulders relax, let the face relax. And go ahead and press your hands to your face and just allow yourself to smooth out the forehead, smooth out the cheeks, smooth out the jaw. You can smile, no one's looking at you. I want you to bring your hands to your thighs, make two tight fists, curling the fingers into the palms, sit up super tall, draw the low belly in. And now clench the teeth, curl everything in, let the shoulders hunch together. Curl the toes, curl up as tight as you can. You might even bring the hands to the arms, tuck your chin towards your chest. And take a big breath in, curl up tighter, tighter in this ball. Imagine all this stress that has built up, and then take a big open mouth exhale, let it go, unravel, unwind. Deep breath in for a count of 1, 2, 3. Long breath out. 1, 2, 3. So wherever you're sitting, whether it's the floor or the chair, or even if you're standing up tall, go ahead and relax the fingers, relax the shoulders, relax the chest, relax the breath. You can step the feet right and left. And then I want you to stand up nice and tall or sit up tall. Another deep breath in. You can lower or close the eyes, breathing in for 1, 2, 3. And breathing out for 1, 2, 3. And continue this slow, even breath, allowing that tightness to kind of just melt off of you. Whenever stress is tightening its grip on you and creating that tension in the body, creating that kind of closed off physical and mental way of being, you can choose to open up and to relax. And take a full breath in. An open mouth exhale, let go of any worry and focus on just what is. Gently drop your right ear towards the right shoulder. Bring your left hand to the left shoulder. Gently pull it down. We're looking for length on the left side of the neck. And we're just going to pause here and breathe for 3 rounds of slow, even breath. And so if it feels like too much to let the full weight of your head drop to the right, then you can just lift it up. And so you just have to go just as far as you feel, a gentle stretch, a place where you can feel comfortable to pause and stay. You don't want to feel like you're just on the edge of injuring yourself by any means. And then use your breath to lift the head up. And left shoulder drops towards left ear drops towards the left shoulder. Right hand gently draws the right shoulder down. Same thing, you don't have to go as far as gravity would take you. You can just go as far as feels safe to pause and breathe. And then go ahead, bring your head back through center. Tuck your chin towards the chest. We want to make some space between the shoulder blades here. So press the upper back towards the wall behind you, reaching the top of the head forward. Let the chin curl in. Just want to be aware of your muscles along the ribs as you take a full breath in. Find a seated cow pose. Reach the heart forward, pressing the ribs forward, lifting the face up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, find a seated cat pose, pressing the spine towards the back wall, letting the shoulder blades hug in. And take a couple more rounds like that. We're just going to repeat for a couple rounds of breath. When you're done with your cat and cow, come back through center. Let the right ear drop towards the right shoulder, left hand, left shoulder, gentle tug. And just breathe for 3 rounds of breath. As you finish that 3rd round, lift the head up through center and switch it out. Right hand, right shoulder, left ear, left shoulder. Notice if you're holding your breath. And bring yourself back up through center, arms reach up overhead. Turn the right palm to face the ceiling, left hand finds the right wrist, and then reach up and then hinge over to the right. Again, you could be seated for this or standing upright. A little bend in your knees if you are standing. Either way, draw the left shoulder back. And inhale up through center, and then we'll switch out the hands. So then the left palm will face up, right hand to the left wrist, reach up. And then over to the left side. This should feel really good right here in the upper ribs. Inhale back through center, and then we have the option here for a forward bend. So if you are sitting in your chair, then you could just reach down towards the toes. You might lift your hips up out of the seat and find an inversion in your forward fold. If you're down on the floor like me, I'm actually going to stand up and take this with you guys as well. Lots of options for a forward fold. So, and I've got this nice stack of bolster pillows in front of me as well, which makes a good headrest. So what was my seat can become a good stocking point for the forward fold. So whichever way that you took your fold, again, you could still be seated, just folding the chest over the thighs, head towards the floor. You could have stood up. The hands could be reaching down towards pillows or blocks, or again, it depends if you're working from home or working from the office, what kind of props might be available for you. You can shift weight into the left foot, shift weight into the right foot, feel length along the back of the legs. And then pivot the left toes out towards the left, scoot that left foot a little more forward. And then we're gonna bring the left hand to the left foot, reach the right arm up. And so this is triangle pose where the left leg is straight-ish. You wanna have a little bend in that knee. So we're just gonna stand up through center. And turn the right toes towards the right, bend your right knee. Right hand comes down, left arm lifts up, so it's triangle pose on the opposite leg. So now right toes pointed away from you, towards the right. And we're gonna stand through center once again and come back towards your desk, towards your chair. Find that safety zone. We're gonna take tree pose. So you can use your chair or your desk to help with your balance, bringing your right foot up to the inside of the left calf or the inside of the left thigh. The right hands can come to heart center. Sorry, I'm not a professional videographer here to demonstrate everything upper angle, but tree pose is a good balance pose. It's a good entry level balance pose. And if you are on a video call or trying to get your standing time in, you could always practice it while you're at your desk. It's good because it's helping to open the hip on the standing leg or on the lifted leg, sorry. And it is building strength in this standing leg. So notice we kind of have a tendency to send one hip out. And so here, if you want to work that glute muscle in the right side, squeeze the right glute, keep that right hip drum in. And so the right leg is just neutral, standing up, not sashayed out. And so when you're done with your tree pose, we're going to come back to a forward fold. The forward fold could be, again, from your seat, or maybe even leaning your head against the chair, reaching down towards pillows or your dog or whatever is at your work from home or work from work. And then the option to add a shoulder stretch can feel really good. And so you can interlace your fingers at your low back. And so just making a clasp here, roll the heads of the shoulders up, down, and back, and then reach the knuckles back. So if you're still in that forward fold, then the knuckles are reaching up towards the ceiling, maybe towards the front of your room, maybe towards your desk, as the case may be. I'm going to release my arms down. You can let go when you're ready. And then meeting in a standing position. But you could also do this seated from your chair. And so I will come down so I'm in screen. And so bring your arms up, again, seated or standing. And then left arm forward, right arm back, just finding a twist. The left hand can come to the right hip. The right hand can come behind you for a half bind. A bind is any time that we are kind of trapping the limbs or a part of the body in place. So sometimes it's, intertwining our arms or our fingers. In this case, it's making this connection of the back of the right hand to the lower left side of the low back. Take a full breath in. And exhale, open your twist a little more towards the right side of your room. And inhale back through center, and then we're going to do the opposite side. And so start to reach the right arm forward, left arm back, and then find the bind right hand to the left hip. And then the left hand might come behind you, finding the right low back. Twist can feel really good. So you want to come back through center and just kind of shake it out. Feel into your hips, feel into your shoulders. If you took it seated, you might stand up and try this twist from a standing position or vice versa. If you're seated all the way on the floor, it can be nice to cross the legs as well. So that'll get the twist more into your hips. So we're going to twist again to the right. And so if you've got the legs crossed, the right leg over the left, then you can kind of hook the back of the left arm in front of the right knee. And you can really feel that twist of the muscles around the spine, and opening the chest. Twists are supposed to be detoxifying, so you can definitely hold them for like 3 to 5 minutes at a time. I know that seems really like a long amount of time, but we've all been under a large amount of stress. So we won't actually stay for 5 minutes each side, don't worry. The next time you're putting together your own, de-stress at your desk, know that twists are a really nice addition. So as you come out of this one, it might feel good to take a counter twist, just going briefly to the left side before we uncross the legs and go the opposite way for real. And so left leg on top this time, if you're seated, opening the chest towards the left. Option to find this bind of the right tricep in front of around the outside of the left knee. That's again just kind of holding you in place. When we are holding this pose in this active way, it's considered a yang posture. So you're probably familiar with the idea of yin and yang, light and dark, just opposites relative to one another. So like if you're a CrossFitter, then doing any type of yoga probably feels pretty yin. And if you are a busy nonprofit volunteer or a director or staff member, you are probably kind of used to a life of yang, of busyness, of having a lot to do. And so hopefully this practice feels yin. You can try to unwind and just do your counter twist open to the right. And then from here, we're going to take a supported back bend. So we'll just turn. So again, from the floor or sitting in your chair, you can just bring your hands to your low back so you can kind of scoot towards the edge of your chair. And then hug the elbows together. Draw the low belly in. Lift the heart up. Where we're normally this like curled in here, we're totally opening up. So this group, I feel like probably is familiar with Brene Brown and the idea of being vulnerable, and back bends and heart openers and yoga poses can make you feel the emotions of vulnerability from a physical standpoint. The way to practice kind of dealing with the emotions of having your heart forward. And coming out of your supported back bend, we're going to stand up. It's fun. I wrote this class out a couple days ago, and I'm reading my notes like, well, that was really ambitious, but actually we still have plenty of time. So it's good to stretch our hips if we're sitting and kind of sedentary during the day. So coming up to standing, catch your right foot in the right hand behind you. And so that's just kicking that right foot and then finding the connection. So again, a bind. If you have a yoga strap at home, then this is a nice place to use it to wrap around this foot. You can use a blanket or a towel, a dog leash. Lots of found objects make for a good yoga strap, a scarf. What we're looking for here is a nice stretch because we sit all day. We have this angle of hip bone to the knee bone, basically this straight line, and it's this 90-degree angle here at the hip. When we take this foot back, we're opening that up. And so this is just a good way to counter all the time that we spent kind of scrunching up that hip flexor. This helps to open it up. If you want to keep using your chair, that is great. It's not taking away from your stretch at all, which is the point of why we're doing this. If you feel like adding something fun to your pose here, you can make this into a dancer pose by just getting brave, reaching that left arm forward, reaching it out in front of you, and then keep kicking. So I wish I could see you guys. I hope you're all doing dancer. You can let go of that foot, step it out, shake it out. And then we'll come to the other side. So you can rearrange however you need, and then kick the left foot back. So if you know that you want to go towards dancer, make sure you get the big toe side of this left foot. It just helps with keeping this left shoulder a little more open. So you can stay here, kicking the foot into the hands, or you can choose to reach the right arm forward. And stay there, come out as you are ready. And then you can come back to your chair seat or your floor seat. I really recommend the floor seats if you don't have one. There's lots of like cool like meditation like poofs or little like footstool sized pillows at Marshall's or Target or whatever. I have a yoga bolster and this like meditation pillow stacked together. But good things to have in your office so you can take a break and sit a different way. So whichever seat you're on, it could be at your regular chair or down on the floor or on whatever kind of shorter seat that you might have. And just cross your ankles. And you can, if you're in your desk chair, you might be sitting cross-legged, cross-ankled, just up tall. If you can, have your hips a little higher than the knees. So that could mean bringing a blanket underneath your sits bones in the chair or on the floor. And perhaps the best gift that yoga gives us to help to de-stress is the gift of meditation. So already we have used just regular pranayama or deep breathing to calm ourselves, to let go of stress. We've moved in the body, which helps to physically move stress around and out, move stagnant energy. And so the final part of our practice today will be a meditation where you can invite in just positive energy. The counterbalance to stress is joy, rather than being worried about all the things that might happen. Can we be happy and joyful about all the things that are? If you're searching for an affirmation to repeat mindfully to yourself, I might suggest I am. That's it. 2 words. I am. I am enough. I am joyful. I am free. I am worthy. I am peaceful. I am strong. I am brave. Whatever that is for you. I am. We have a few minutes left in our time together today. And so would like to end our practice officially and give you a few minutes back to have time to transition before whatever your next thing may be. Thank you so much for taking this time out of your day to de-stress, whatever that stress may be. I know that stress feels heavy and that it can be deep and serious and not something that you can just breathe and let go of, but how we process it does really make a difference. So thank you for all that you do for the nonprofits of our region and for the community and the people that live in our region. I hope that you guys have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. And I think we have one more Wellness Wednesday in the series that you can find out about through Kelly and the Nonprofit Network. And that is all that I have for this afternoon. Thank you all.
I'd like to thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Lauren, for an awesome session. Thank you. I know I feel a little bit better sitting behind the desk as we speak. We would like for you to join us next week when we do yoga for stress relief, and that's going to be co-hosted with Danielle Montague. There, the information concerning that will be on our Facebook page, and you can refer back to a newsletter if you received that. Um, I do anticipate a recording of this session going out to everybody that signed up. That should be going out sometime, if things work like they should, they should go out tomorrow evening. And again, that's if everything works like it should, but they will definitely be out by the end of the week. And there will also be a short survey that will be included as well. And if Lauren has any additional links that she would like to share or any digital materials that she would like to share, those will be included as well. And I would like to thank you again for joining us today. And I hope you enjoy your Wednesday. Thanks, everybody.